Oh,
Yo, 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 what is up, my guy? How is
what's
it
up,
going?
man? How we doing, brother?
Bro, just hanging in. I'm hanging on. Honestly, as an OU fan, this is probably one of the most important weeks in our season, minus maybe a college football playoff game. Regular season, though, this is all she wrote, Corey. I mean, it don't get no bigger than this. It's hated rivals. But, man, we're going to recap a little bit of last week, and then we're going to jump all the way into the Red River game. But go ahead and get us started.
Man, House Divided. My name's Corey Hilliard. Man next to me, Brandon Hill. Red River Shootout Week. If you've been here before, you know what it is. If it's your first time, me Casa, Su Casa, be here, talk to him, and let's get into it.
Guys, just do four things first if you don't mind. Actually, five things. I'm gonna come at y'all with a new one tonight. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, tap the thumbs up button if you guys like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing. Always drop down there in those comments. We always want to hear from you guys. But if you're listening to this on YouTube, guys, and you're watching us, you know how they got that little share button? Go ahead, if you don't mind posting that to social media, sharing it, getting our content out there so more people can view it. We'd greatly appreciate that as well. So, Corey, let's start the game that I actually wanted to start off with today to kind of recap from last week. USC and Colorado, my guy.
Yeah.
That game right there, I don't know if it's as much about Shador Sanders and what he did in that football game to kind of will his team back into the game, or if it's more about USC's defense is just absolute dog shit. And like it's the same old man. I mean, you've seen the memes and everything on Twitter about Caleb Williams sitting there with his head like this, man. You know he's gotta be thinking like, man, when are we gonna just get this together? Because you score 48 points in a football game, you should win easily against most teams. I mean, come on. Am I overreacting here?
Nah,
How do you see this?
look, you get up 34-7 before halftime. You kind of, I don't know, as an athlete, somebody in that position, I think there's a little bit let up factor there. They probably thought the game was in hand, and then they just didn't fight as hard. I really don't know what happened, but the fact that they were up 34-7 to start off the game, I think bodes well for the defense. Now, what happened after that? You're playing against a really good quarterback in Shador Sanders, and it's an offense that has weapons. So there's no shame in giving up whatever they gave up. You win the game. You want to win the game. However you win the game, doesn't matter how you win it as long as you get the dub. So I'm not going to kill them for giving up the 41 points. Colorado has pride. Those players over there are coached hard by Deion Sanders. So for them to be in the same position they were against Oregon on the Colorado side, they didn't give up. They just kept playing. They found a way to get back into the game. And so I think that's more about Colorado than it is about USC's defense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say USC doesn't have any problems on defense. They obviously do. But they won the game, man. That's all you can do. They're undefeated. They're 5-0. I mean, what else is there to say about it?
I'm not disagreeing with everything that you just said there, Corey, but man, it's the same story, different game, my guy, with the USC Trojan. It goes back to his time at Oklahoma. It is an Alex Grinch problem. And I'm here to tell you right now, when they face Oregon, when they face Utah, when they face those teams like Washington with Michael Penix, when they face those teams, they're going to be able to match them point for point, score for score. They're going to be able to do that. What's USC going to do? Because, Corey, they were up like, golly, 40 something to 20 something, my guy, in this game. And they
Yeah.
let Colorado back in the game. Now, granted, they just ran out of time at the end of the game. And to be completely honest, that last drive that Colorado had before they scored that last touchdown, that took way too much damn time. Like, what are y'all doing out here? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Y'all
Yeah.
have zero timeouts.
Right.
And maybe it was just like the type of thing to where Dion and then they were just like, we're gonna have to get an onside kick and hope that happens. Which, statistically speaking, that doesn't usually work out for the team that's got to do the onside kick, unless you're going up against Oklahoma and Big 12 refs involved in the game. That usually doesn't work out for the other team. So that's where I'm at with that game. But to me, it's same old, same old. I got USC after seeing them in that game. They're losing at least 2 to 3 games this year. Bare minimum, Corey. They're not winning the Pac-12. So my Pac-12 pick is shit for the rest of the year. I mean, that's just where I'm at, man. Because Oregon, to me, Oregon looks like the class of the Pac-12 right now. Them and then a close second by Washington. You probably put Utah underneath there, but that's where I'm at with it, man.
Yeah, if you're kind of forecasting this out, you know what I mean? I'm going to share my screen here and kind of look at what they got coming up and talk about your prediction about them losing some games. I mean, if you're looking at it, they're at Notre Dame in a couple weeks. That's a potential L. Utah's going to be a tough game. They haven't beat Utah in the past 3 years. Washington, they do get them at home. They get Utah at home. And then they play at Oregon late, which if they get by Notre Dame, Utah, and Washington, if they somehow get by all those teams, that Oregon game at Oregon, which is a really tough place to play, is going to be huge. And I don't see them beating Oregon either. I'm with you on that one.
No, they're not beating Notre Dame. Cameron Rising back with Utah. They're not beating him. They're not beating Man, out of all those games, the one team that they're luckily might get lucky and win is Utah.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because that's the defending Pac-12 champs. And, I mean, man, come on. Tell me you don't see it. That's 3 to 4 losses right there.
Right. Yep. Now, the one thing they do have in their favor is they do have the defending Heisman Trophy winner. And so Caleb Williams, he'll keep him in the game. I think he'll keep him in most of these games. Their defense, just like you said, their defense is going to have to make some stops at some point.
It's trash. It's trash. Absolute trash. I'm glad that it's over there, though, and it's not here anymore. So I'm good with it. I'm good. The next game I wanted to touch on, Corey, we had talked about this one. And I want my kudos a little bit on this one because I believe I called it like spot on. I said that Notre Dame was going to cover and win by about 7 points in this football game. It was a battle. It kind of came down to one of those things, kind of like I said, Corey. Notre Dame, Sam Hartman, final drive of the game. It was a 4th and 16 from his own 50-yard line. What does the dude do? He runs and picks up the first down, Corey. I mean, that was an absolute amazing. That was a Heisman Trophy moment type play for end of the season when you're looking at Heisman Trophy candidates. Sam Hartman is going to be listed up there in the top 5. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but these are going to be one of those games and one of those Heisman moment type games when his team needed him in that drive. Now, granted, they were missing some wide receivers. They had to rely on Greathouse and that other guy. I can't remember his name. It slips me. But dude, that Notre Dame team just pulled up in there to Durham and basically just told Duke, you're not ready for this yet. But credit to Duke in this game. They played a hell of a football game. And shout out to the quarterback too, man. I hope and pray that he's going to be all right. I haven't heard anything about him. I think they said it's not initially as bad as what it looked. But, man, you hate to see it end the way that it did with him going down like that. But
right.
I mean, this is how I've seen this game playing out, so it didn't surprise me a bit. What do you say?
I think I picked Duke. It was looking really good up until the last drive of the game. Duke's scrappy this year, man. It's just one of those years that the Duke Blue Devils have a really, really good football team. They fought and they battled with Notre Dame. Credit to Notre Dame for getting that late drive and the late touchdown with 31 seconds left. I feel bad for Duke in the sense that they were about to pull off something that a lot of people didn't think they can do. You know,
They were.
I mean, tell me you weren't surprised at the end of that game that they were up.
Oh, I absolutely was. When it was 14-13 and Notre Dame had to take that final drive of the game to go in the lead, I was like, holy crap. and then it was like I was mixed emotions because I was like, I picked this game. I picked Notre Dame to win. I picked them to win by 7. I said the podcast part of me wanted Notre Dame to pull that one off. But the OU fan in me, wanting to get closer to the top 10 possibly, wanted Notre Dame to lose this football game. Right. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Here in just a little bit, we'll talk about it. If OU handles their business this Saturday, that ain't going to matter anyways. So credit to Duke, though, man. They played hard. man, that crowd, they had the Cameron Crazies in the stands
I know. I see.
at
Yeah.
the football game.
Yeah.
At the football game. I loved it. It was a good atmosphere for college football. A night game there, and you don't see that a whole lot. So whenever
No.
you get to see something that you don't see a whole lot, it's kind of nice.
Yep.
So, and then Corey, the last two games that I just wanted to touch on. This is going to be brief because we can just sit here and say Texas and Oklahoma straight up handled their business last week.
Yep.
Coming into this Red River game. Now, one other thing that I am going to mention, Texas. I'm not saying they would have lost. Jalen Daniels would have played, but I don't think it would have been 40-14. And I was very bummed out to see that Jalen Daniels did not play in that football game because it was like a late game scratch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was back tightness.
Yeah, it's disappointing for Kansas. I'm with you. I think they would have had a real shot had he played. But you play who's in front of you. So Texas handled their business. I think OU got off to kind of a rugged start, giving up 20 points to Iowa State early in the game. And then they just absolutely put the clamps down. And so both teams had kind of had trap games before the big one this week. And they both handled business. They both won by more than 20 points. So
the 20 points too. I mean, those two touchdowns that OU gave up, it was aggressive plays, over aggression. They didn't stay within their scheme to where they needed to, and it was some busted coverages, and the guy ran wide open. I mean, you got to give it to him. But credit to OU. OU's team last year would have given up 40, 50 points in that football game, man. You see the improvement. They went into the locker room. What'd they do? After the half, Iowa State only had 85 yards of total offense.
right.
So
put the clamps
moving in now, man. This is the game. This is what everybody wants to hear about, Corey. We got OU. We got Texas. Can you pull it up here on the screen for us so we can see the predictions, all that stuff?
Yep.
If you don't mind for me.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Give me one quick second here.
Because the line's been moving on this thing. It started out at like 6.5. I've seen it as low as like 5.5. I have not seen it creep up into the 7.5 range. I don't anticipate it to do that either. I think that it's going to stay right there around 5 to 5.5 in favor of Texas. So, oh man, this is the one, brother.
Don't be nervous, big dog. Don't be nervous.
No nerves.
Now here, the matchup predictor. There you go. They got y'all favored.
But that doesn't mean anything. That's just FPI. To me, that's the worst stat to accumulate a football team, in my opinion. I'll take it. It's nice. Okay, the over-under right now, we're at 60. The line has Texas minus 6.5, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm looking at this game on paper, these two football teams, they're pretty evenly matched. The thing that I will give Texas the edge on is their defensive line. I think it's a titch better than OU's. Their offensive line also, they got a bunch of dudes on that O-line, and they got camaraderie on that O-line. You know just as well as I do, Corey, whenever you have camaraderie on the offensive line, you have guys that have played together for a few years.
Yep.
You start to develop chemistry. And when you have chemistry on the offensive line and you have a good defensive line and you can win the trenches, you win most football games, right?
Yep.
Just, Corey, if I had some paper, scrunch that shit up, throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. Because in this game, it doesn't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen an Oklahoma team that was ranked in the top 10, had no business losing to Texas. And I've seen them pull up into this game against a trash-ass Texas team and lose. One thing that's going this one that's the most intriguing is they're both 5-0, Corey. This is the first time that both teams are 5-0 since I think 2009, maybe 2011. It's been a while. Okay. To me, the quarterback position in this game is a wash. I think Quinn Ewers and Dylan Gabriel are both very good quarterbacks that understand both of their offenses.
Right.
You look at the receiver position. Texas has more names that everybody talks about, but that's just because the media is all about Texas. I would argue to you that that's a wash as well. Now, the tight end position, Jatavion Sanders is questionable for this game. If they do not have Jatavion Sanders, that is a big, big miss for them. Huge.
Yes.
Because that is Quinn Ewer's safe blanket. When everybody's covered up, number 0 is always right there with the mismatch.
That's facts.
So if that dude does not play, that can potentially create some problems for Texas. Because I think that the Sooners are going to come into this football game keyed in on the run game. I do not think that they're going to allow Jonathan Brooks to just go absolutely crazy. I still think he's going to get his because he is a very talented running back, and he's proven that. I'm interested to see if OU can get the ground game going. Now, I say that they're averaging 157 yards a game, but it's been more of a running back by committee.
Yeah.
No one has really been like, I'm the guy. You know what I mean? Like last year we had Eric Gray. We don't have that. But man, I'm very intrigued because our defense, I think that we can cause issues for Texas. Because one thing to beat Texas this year that I've seen hadn't happened yet, you got to get Quinn Ewers off of his spot. We cannot just allow Quinn Ewers to sit back here in that pocket and do whatever the hell he wants. So if they can get Quinn Ewers off his spot, get him out, I think that we have a hell of a chance in this football game, Corey. I'm going to go ahead. Let me know your take on this game, and then we'll give our predictions.
Man, that was all good stuff. You know, looking at the matchup, I kind of agree with you. The quarterback position is a wash. You might can lean Gabriel's way because he's the much more experienced quarterback. I think for OU, two things have to happen. You got to start the game off fast, right? Being the underdog, you got to start the game on. I say start the game off fast. Get up 7-3, 14-3, 14-7, right? At the end of the first quarter, you want to have a lead, number one. Number two, that defense has got to create turnovers. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think you guys are averaging 2.5 turnovers per game. I think if you're right at that number, 2 or 3 turnovers, this thing gets real interesting real fast. Create a turnover on the first or second drive, get a pick, strip, fumble, sack, something to where the momentum is squarely on your side. Those two things have to happen for OU. Now, I'm saying if those things don't happen for you, you don't have a chance, but that tilts it way in your favor for me. The other thing I've been looking for is that offensive line for Texas. You talked about it. All 5 starters returning, right? You got to get a pass rush to me if you're going to win the game. All right. And how does that come? Does it come in the form of blitz? Right? Are you going to really rely on the 3 or 4 man rush to get home? Right? What are you going to do to move Ewers off his spot? Right? You're going to have to bring some guys in there to get him off his spot. And so when you do that, what are you giving up on the back end? I think you guys are good enough in the secondary to compete with their receivers. Right? And you got to do it in a timely manner. You got to know when to take your shots. Right? Blitzing him. So that's going to be important. And the last thing for me is how aggressive are y'all going to be on offense? You guys are predicated on the run game, right? A lot of short passes, moving down the field methodically. You got to create some big plays against this Texas defense, right? The chunk plays are going to be huge for y'all. The intermediate to long deep ball. Is Gabriel going to be able to hit that? Will the offensive line hold up against his front and give him time to do that, right? So you got to protect on offense. You got to have an intermediate to deep passing game if you're an OU fan. And then on the other side, you got to blitz. All right. You got to take your chances leaving those DBs out there one-on-one with those receivers. All right. You got to get home and get Quentin Ewers off his spot. If you blitz him and make him uncomfortable, right, you guys have a really, really good chance, I think.
And Corey, that falls right into Brent Venable's hands.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a coach that can scheme up a defense, bring exotic blitzes, change the coverage up, and just make you guess every single play. I mean, they have that one where like 8 guys will be up at the line of scrimmage, and they'll either break out or they're just bringing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And those are the type of plays that we're going to need, because I don't think it comes down to, oh, their offensive line is way bigger than us, they're just going to bully us. I don't think that's going to be the case,
No,
Corey.
I don't think
I
so
really
either.
don't, because we're going to send – when you send 5 or 6 guys, you're going to have a Danny Stutzman coming up the middle, Jaron Knack from the linebacker position, Deshaun McCullough. I mean, OU's got dudes from sideline to sideline that can absolutely fly around the ball. Another thing that I've noticed from my defense this year, Corey, we're making open field tackles. We are tackling guys in the open field. That was not happening for the last, God, I'll say 7 to 8 years, Corey.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you seen it against Oklahoma that all that a team does is does a dip-ass little screenplay, and he misses a tackle, and the guy breaks it for 50, 60 yards for a touchdown?
Right.
It's happened. That's not happening this year. You got guys like Gentry Williams out there shoring up the outside. Woody Washington has been nothing short of spectacular for the first 5 of the season. Now, it all comes down to, though, OU hadn't played anybody. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But guess what? They've done exactly what they've needed to in every single one of those football games, and they're 5-0 against the spread. 5-0.
5-0. That's important. Yeah.
So they're
important.
beating the teams that they need to beat. They're winning the games that they need to win. And here it is. We're right here. This is the Red River Rivalry, right? Give me the Oklahoma Sooners by 7 points. I got a score of like 31-24 in this football game, Court. I'm shocking the world on this one. I know before the season started, I picked Texas to win this football game. That was before I got to see my team on the field, though. That was before I got to see what Dylan Gabriel looks like right now. That's before I got to see all this, Corey. So I'm changing my pick. I'm allowed to do that because I'm a Sooners fan, and this is our show, so we can do what the hell we want. Oklahoma, 7 points, 31-24. They're going to handle Texas, and they're going to show them that we still are. That 49-0 don't mean shit right now. So that's where I'm at with it. What do you see?
I see a low-scoring game. I think both defenses are very formidable. I don't see the offenses being able to do what they want to do in this game. I respect the hell out of OU's defense this year. It's very old school. Like you said, the open field tackles, they're not missing them. And I respect the front seven from Texas. You know, your strength is what they specialize in. They don't allow a lot of run yards, and you guys are predicated on the run. I see this. I see it going to overtime. And I see a 27-20 Texas win in overtime. I think it's going to be one of those defensive battles that nobody's predicting. I think you guys are going to show up defensively. I think they're going to show up defensively. And I see an overtime game, 27-20.
I hope you're wrong.
It's not going to be a pretty game, I don't think, offensively.
I hope you're wrong. I really do. I really do.
Well, preseason, this was my pick to kind of run the table in the Big 12 and play in the Big 12 title game. So I'm sticking to my guns here.
I get it. And hey, win, lose, or draw for either team, I think both of these teams are going to be in Arlington at the end of this season.
Yeah, that was another point I was going to make. This is the first time they'll play this year. This will be a preview of the championship game.
Yeah, because let's be honest, who in the Big 12 is competing?
No, the rest of the conference is trash. I can see why both teams are leaving. Kudos to both teams for getting the hell up out of there.
Hey,
because this conference is a dumpster fire, right? It's the only 2 teams in the conference we're talking about, maybe a Kansas. But shoot, man, I just see an old school Red River defensive slobber knocker.
I could see that. That's not a bad pick. It's definitely not a bad pick. Man, I don't know. I want these bastards so bad, man, because it's just, I got buddies that are Texas fans, and all that they 49-0. And I'm just like, man, I don't think we would have won that football game last year how we had Dylan Gabriel, but I don't believe it would have been 49-0. I really don't. And you know that, like Jeff Levy for Oklahoma, these players coming into this football game, they're like, we got Dylan Gabriel this time, man. We got a quarterback. Like we're not about to be seeing the Wildcat formation every damn play. Like, and 3 and out, 3 and out. Like, Ray came on the show and told us, man, that was grueling on their defense. They were literally going back to the sideline, and it felt like, boom, they're right back out there again. So that's tough on the defense. It's not going to happen this year. Plus, we've got different – both of these teams are dramatically different than last season, Corey.
I will say that. And
they just are.
Another thing you guys have the edge is the 49-0 loss last year. I'm sure the coaching staff is not let them forget at once at all this whole week what happened last year. So I think you guys naturally are going to be the hungrier team. There's a revenge factor for you guys that'll play in your favor. And I think along with that, this sets up really. If y'all get this one, bro, the rest of the season sets up beautifully for the OU Sooners. When I'm talking about, you're looking going into that Big 12 game. If you get this one, you're going into the Big 12 game against Texas again as a top 14 by the end of the year.
Easy,
right?
Easy.
If you get them again, then you're in the CFP.
They mess around and vault into the top 6, top 5 if they beat Texas.
If they get this one, I don't see them leapfrogging all of the Pac-12 teams sitting at 8, 7, and 6. I think you can leapfrog. I think you can leapfrog a USC. I think you can leapfrog maybe a Washington, because if y'all get this one, but if you get this one, you'll have the second most, maybe the most impressive win of the season so far.
It would have to be.
You're talking about Ohio State beating Notre Dame on the road, top 10 matchup. You're talking about Texas beating Alabama on the road, where they were number 11 and Alabama was 3. This to me would be a top 2 win.
Because the Florida State LSU game doesn't have as much luster.
Since LSU lost last week for sure.
Again.
So I mean, this one, y'all get this one, I can see y'all being top 7, top 6.
Need it. I would love nothing more than this. I really wanted them to boost Texas up to number 2 in this game, man. I wanted Texas as high as can possibly be. You know that those Texas players are going to come into this game with a little bit of a hot head, man, with the way that they handled us last season. It'd be hard not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that our guys, they're just steady been grinding. They've just been handling their business. And it's like, national media, don't worry about OU. Don't do it. Just don't mind us at all. We're just going to steadily sit over here. We're going to be a top 3 scoring offense. We're going to be a top 3 scoring defense. We'll just sit over here and handle our business. And when Texas comes to town, to Dallas, when we meet up in that Cotton Bowl, yeah, buddy. Let's go. This is what we live for, man. This as an OU fan, this is it, bro. The
stakes are high too, man. So this is a high stakes game. This is a high stakes game.
It feels like we haven't had a game like this since Kelt McCoy and Sam Bradford were the quarterbacks. Respectfully, for both of these teams to be ranked like this,
right?
Man, there it is. That's all we can do. So we're just gonna roll into this thing, man. Like I told you, and when Oklahoma wins this thing, I got a lot of beef.
You got a lot to say.
I got a lot. I'm going to come join the Twitter spaces. I'm going to be in that thing. I'm going to have them Texas fans up in there. We're going to be cranking that thing up. We're going to be getting it going, man. I'm telling you.
I hear
you. Win, lose, or draw, though. I'm one of those two. I'm not a sore loser. I'll take my stripes when I have to and take my beatings when I have to. I'm just that way, man. That's just how I roll. But I really do think that Oklahoma – we got some get back on our mind, man. And Billy Bowman lived right next to me, man. He told me. So we got something for Texas. Don't worry, bro. Don't worry.
All right.
We're going to find out. We're going to see. See. Man, is there any other games to really talk about?
No, that was it. This is the game this week. Nothing else really matters.
This is it. Game day's there. Oh, and also just a little tidbit. I heard there's a guest speaker for Oklahoma on game day, man. Heard it might be a one Mr. Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
as a guest picker type of thing. Bring him. I love me some Baker. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, man. If you want to, we can hop on this thing tomorrow, break down a little bit of NFL and everything.
Yeah.
And then, man, hey, let's get ready for this weekend, bro, because it's gonna be live.
Awesome. All right, man.
It's gonna be live.
Get us out of here.
All right, then, guys. Hey, as always, guys, if you guys are still here with us and you're listening to this right now, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell. Please like and share our content as well. Help us get it out there. Guys, we're sitting at 91 subscribers. Also, too, we've been talking with some other podcasters. Not going to mention any names, but we got some collabs coming for you guys down the pipes. We're going to be hopping on some other shows with some other guys, talking some college football, talking a little NFL. We're going to be out there, guys. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned. Also, too, NBA kind of getting closer and closer to training camps are opening up. They've done media day. We're going to be talking that, too, whenever that comes around. But as of right now, we got these Sooners and these Texas Longhorns on our mind. Guys, as always, this is the House Divided. It's Brandon, my boy Corey over there. Peace out, guys.
Peace.